guys, today we're going to be learning how to make a stoplight, at least the tiny version. So we're going to need 7 wires, any color, but if you want, then go ahead. If you want me to pick, then go ahead and pick black and red. It's easy to tell apart. Then we want these 3 colored LEDs, yellow, green, and red, for of course the stoplights. 3 resistors as close as possible to 1000 joules. And then Arduino R4, that's what I'll be using. And then a breadboard. Alright, so let's go ahead and first go ahead and make a schematic diagram. This will basically show us like the layout and how it is supposed to be. It won't look like how it is once it's built, but it just shows us how it'll work. So first let's start with this. So this was my schematic diagram. As you can see, pin number 9. All this stuff makes 0 sense to you probably right now. But if you look at your Arduino, then you can see that it has these numbers on these things where you put these double-sided pins. One right here and one right here. So you want to take these pin number 9. So the red LED will be connected to pin number 9. R is just for resistor, and below I put 1000 joules, basically showing us on how many joules we want the resistor to be. Now it can be close to 1000 joules, it doesn't have to be 1000 joules. Like mine is 330 joules, so anywhere near it is just fine. And then the LED, see how I put, so this is LEDs off, this side being the negative and this side being the positive. Now if you look that I have put arrows there, it's mandatory that you put the arrows, or else it would be something else that we don't know right now. And then ground. Now this is another one of those pins, but this one's way more different. Because if you look at this one represents our green. No, sorry, yes, this one represents our green, and this one represents our yellow. They're all connected to ground. Why? Because the negative side of the LED, which if you look at your LED, it's kind of hard to grip. But if you look at your LED, you can see that there's a shorter side and then a longer side. The shorter side is the negative side, and then the longer side is the positive side. You always want the shorter side to the negative side to be connected to the ground. Now we just connected these 3 wires, so I'll be showing how you do it. And then these are the pin numbers. So green is connected to pin number 10. And then yellow is connected to pin number 11. Now this will help us with our coding. And then the 3 resistors. So the positive side is connected to the resistor, which is then connected to the pin on all 3 LEDs. And then the negative side, all 3 wires are connected to each other, which are then connected to the ground. So if you just want to look at this for a few seconds, go ahead and take your time. This is red, this is green, this is yellow. Alright, now let's continue. Now let's learn how to build it. Alright, so just like I said, you want to take it, you want to look at which side is shorter and which side is bigger. It doesn't really matter in which way you put it. Just remember that the shorter side is always connected to the ground, while the longer side is always connected to the pin. As you can see, there's my left side, which is this side, is the shorter one, while my right side, which is this side, is the longer one. Alright, since we want our longer one to be connected to our pin, I'll just take my resistor and put it down right here, connecting it to the LED on the positive side, which is the longer side. So you want to go gently, because I have broken these ones, and trust me, it's not that hard. It's quite malleable, which means flexible, but also quite weak. Alright, now let's take this and attach it there. Now, let me just explain the breadboard to you real quick. So from up to down, that's one row, which means that it is connected. And from side, so like from here all the way to here, I'm pretty sure that's a column, which is not connected. So I put them down to down right here, which means that both of them are connected. That means the positive side of the LED is connected with the resistor. But there is an exemption. This middle side over here disconnects these both sides. So if you were to put the LED here and then put the resistor over here, then that wouldn't be right. But here, as you can see, the resistor is connected to each other. So even though I'm putting this one here and this side here, it is still connected to the LED. So like this, I'll put this here. So, but I won't connect it to my pin yet. Just make sure that it's on the same row as your resistor, which is then connected to your LED. All right, now I'm going to take one of the other wires and connect it to the shorter side. This side is going to be connected to the ground, but for now, I'm just going to connect it to one of these sides. These sides are different because from top to bottom, it's not connected. It's connected from side to side. As you can see here, it's negative, and we always want the ground to be connected to the negative, so I put it on the negative side. This is going to make way more sense right here. So this is just how you want every single one of your LEDs to look like, and make sure that whenever you're connecting them over here, they're all in the same row, so that they can all connect with each other, making it a lot simpler. Alright, now we just do the same thing with the green LED and the yellow LED. I'm just going to fast forward real quick, and then I'm going to show you the final project. Final. Oh, okay. I just forgot English. Anyways, I'm just going to show you the final, how it should look once you're done. Alright guys, so once you're done, this is how the final project should look. Remember that the shorter side is always connected to these black wires that I've put here. So if you were to take a closer look, you could see. Here, let me check it in a good angle. Uh, yeah, I feel like that's good enough. So if you look closely, that you can see that the black wire and then the resistors are both on different rows. So that means that they're not connected. But then the LEDs, they are connected. So the black wire is connected to the shorter side, the negative, and then the resistor is connected to the longer side. And then I put the other end of the resistor on the very next row, bottom row, and I connect one of the red wires to it, which means that it's on the same row. And it can be anywhere on the same row, but it can't be separated from this black line. So if I were to put this somewhere like over here, then that wouldn't work out because they're not on the same row. So I have to put it on the same row. And then I did the same with this. The LEDs on different rows and connected to these red wires. Now I left them open. Now these three you're probably thinking, how are these connected to the ground? They're all just connected to the breadboard. Now, if you looked in the schematic diagram, you could see that all of this is connected to the red wire that then goes around. But since you don't want a lot of it to just be jumbled up in one place right here, which would be pretty hard, it's much more simpler to just join it all together on the negative side, this end, which means that these columns are all the same. So you want to take one of these. So the seventh wire, you want to connect it to these three wires. Bam. Just like that, I connected it. And then you want to finally connect it to the ground. Alright. And then the red one was number 9. So you want to connect the wire that is connected to the red LED to number 9. And then the wire that is connected to the yellow LED to number 10. And then the wire that is connected to the green LED to number 11. Now that you've now that you understood how to build the circuit, we'll move on to the coding on how to code the circuit. What we're trying to do is make the red LED go for 10 seconds, then the green for 10 seconds, and then the yellow for 5 seconds, which then goes back to the red LED for 10 seconds. So be back, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the code and explain it to y'all. Alright guys, I'm back. So as you can see, this is the finished code. Now, you probably don't understand what this gibberish is, but I'll explain it to y'all very soon. All these great things you see here, they're pretty much useless. You don't need to care about that. You don't need to include that in your code. All you have to think about are these colored ones that are blue, black, and not gray. Do not care about the gray ones. That's just telling you what it does. So you could, if you wanted to, pause the video and read the gray to see what each one does if you're still a little bit confused. But let me just go ahead and start. So const int. So this is basically naming it. So the red one is equal to pin number 9. So instead of it just calling it pin number 9, I've named it red by first writing down const space int, and don't change a single thing. Don't capitalize the C in const or capitalize the I in int, because computers, they won't change their language for you. So you won't change your language for them just like that. So you want to make sure that it's in the same language. So you want this to be uncapitalized. The red, you could keep it this, you could name it however you want, since the computer is making sure that pin number 9 is named what you want. You could literally, if you wanted to name it yellow, yellow could be pin number 9 whenever it's truly the red LED. So yes, and then behind every and after every single code, you want to put the semicolon. The semicolon is extremely important. Without it, it won't do the code, and it will also show errors saying that this doesn't have a semicolon after it, meaning that I don't understand it. So next, let's move on to this void setup. This just means that it will do the code only once. It won't like repeat it again and again and again. This pin mode, this basically says whether the pin is an input or output. In this situation, pin number 9 is an output, which I named as red. So I'm going to put some parentheses, pin mode, M capitalized. Like I said, the computers won't change their language for you, just like how you won't change your language for them. So M capitalized, parentheses, in the parentheses, red. Make sure that it's exactly how you named it. Red, comma, output, all caps. And then parentheses, semicolon. And then you have to do the same for yellow and green, aka pin 10 and pin 11. You want to name them as outputs. And then we're going to move on to void loop. Void loop basically just does it again and again and again. So this is where you're going to write the code where it turns off and on your LED. So let's just go ahead and look at this. Digital write, red high. Digital write is basically just telling us whether the LED will be on or off. High, meaning that it will be on, and low, meaning it will be off. So you want to keep this in all caps. So digital write, W capitalized, parentheses, red, R capitalized, or however you named it, and then comma, space, all caps, high, and then another parentheses, and then semicolon. Now, you might be thinking delay. What's delay? That just shows that how long it will stay on. Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's just probably going to stay on for 10,000 seconds. Why did you put 10,000? Well, no, so it will count it in milliseconds. So 10,000 milliseconds. Now in this situation, 1,000 milliseconds equals a second, so that's 10 seconds. All right, so then that's done. Now we're going to show how it'll turn off. This way we can at least see it turning off for a bit. So to the right, parentheses, red, comma, low, all caps, parentheses, and then you want the semicolon in there to make sure that the computer knows that it's a code. And then delay, now I put 100 milliseconds, making it 1/10 of a second. I don't want it to turn off for too long. I want it to turn off for just how much as I can see it. And then parentheses, semicolon. You want to do this for all of them, and if you want to change it up, you can change it up. If you want it to go on for 100 seconds, then put up 100,000 milliseconds. If you want it to go on for 5 seconds, 5,000 milliseconds. You can switch it up, make it turn off for 10 seconds, and make it turn on for 1/10 of a second. So you just do the same for all these. Digital right, and then green high, and you also want to put it in the order that you want it to be. If you put if you want it to be red off and then, I mean, red on and then green on and then yellow on, you want to put red high, red low first, and then green and then yellow. But if you were to put it as yellow, green, red, and you might be thinking maybe the computer knows it's a stoplight. Well, no, you're wrong. The computer would read it as it is. So you want to keep it in the order that you want it. So let's go ahead and attach it to the Arduino. So if you see closely, your Arduino is gonna have something like that right there on your thing. You're gonna want to take this, and then you want to just attach it to that. 1 second, y'all. All right, and then you just want to like attach it to that. Right, we're having currently malfunctions, so I'll just be right back. Now it just has those lights on from other codes and stuff, so let's just basically start coding it. First, let's verify to make sure that everything's right. Let's see if it has any red letters, that means it's wrong, but if it has white letters, then it's perfect. So far this is perfect. Next we want to upload it. All right. Hold your breath. Hopefully this works. Seems like there was an error. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to attach this to the computer. That was pretty dumb. But yeah, you learn, even if you make any mistakes, even if it's something like this, super dumb, you always want to learn from it. So let's try again now. Alright, seems like it's uploading it. Let's see if it's working. Alright, y'all, there goes the red one. It's gonna take quite long. Hopefully it works. Alright, now it's the green one. Okay. Okay. And the yellow one. Seems like it worked just fine with everything going just right. Now, if you want to ever pause in between the videos and work on it your own, then go ahead and do so. If you want, experiment with it. Maybe try new things. You can always use Google and all these other things. Learn more things, become more advanced at this. Alright, guys. Hope y'all learned something new and had fun. And please subscribe, like, and comment. See y'all in the next video.